Hello again. So in this video we are basically going to learn something pretty important in the C programming language, which is basically getting the input from the user, how to get input from the keyboard, how to get numbers and deal with them. So basically what you have to do is, first of all, let's define a couple of variables to fill from the user. So let's declare A, and then we want that A to be a value given by the user. So there's a function called scanf, and that function works pretty much, it has the syntax, its syntax pretty much looks like the printf syntax. So just give it the first parameter, which is a string, a text. The first parameter is the format, so we're gonna read an integer, and then you give it the variable that you want the user to put value in it, which is A. But then there's something that you need to focus on here. A is a variable, but when we want to fill A with a number, we should not send the variable A itself. We should send its address, where A is stored in memory, so that when the user put in a number, the scanf function will take the address of our variable and will copy our number into that address. So in order to extract the address of a variable from a variable in the C language, all we have to do is to add this ampersand, this symbol here in front of your variable. When you add that symbol, you actually tell it, oh, I'm not interested about A, I'm interested about the address of A, where A is stored in memory. We know that every variable in memory has a location. It is stored somewhere, so we need that somewhere. Okay, we need to know where A is stored. So we go to that address where A is stored and we replace the value there. We replace the number by the number that we're gonna get from the user. So let's now printf again an integer, and let's give it A. Now I started the program, and as you can see, it's blinking because it's waiting for me to give it a number. So I'm gonna give it, say, 55, for example, and then when I hit enter, it prints 55 back to me. So we've been able to successfully get the number from the user and put that number into the variable A, and then with the printf function, print that A back to us. So of course, depending on the type of the value that we want the user to input, we change the format parameter of the scanf function. So for example, if we want to get a character from the user, instead of saying %i, we would replace that by a %c. So it's char, so A is of type char, and then we read a character from the user, and then we send the address of A so that the system will take that character from the user and then we'll store it at that address, and then we print that address. And of course we're printing a character, so it's %c. Now let's give it a character, any character, just L for example, and as you can see it prints L back to us. Now, what if we want to take text from the user? And again, I'm gonna cover text in later videos. I'm gonna cover strings in later videos because they involve pointers. So, how to get a text, a string from the user? All I have to do is basically to create an array of characters, say for example 100, and then I'm gonna read a string, so it's %s, and then I'm gonna give it the address of A. And then I'm gonna print f a string, and then I'm gonna give it a. Let's try that out. Hello world. And as you can see, it prints hello. So it takes the first text. Okay. I'm gonna cover later when we study strings why the scanf only takes the first word and not the entire text. I'm going to show you a couple of methods that allows you to take spaces. For instance, you could, for example, instead of the scanf, there's another method that allows you to get a string, which is get s, which stands for get string, and then you give it a, which is the string itself, and then let's say hello world, and as you can see, it takes the entire text and print it back to you. And you might be asking, isn't this an array of character? So what is the relationship between an array of character and strings? And basically, array of characters, a string is an array of character. That's it. Okay? So if you have an array of character, you can consider that as a string. And we're gonna get into more details in the later videos. So that's it. That's basically how you get input from the keyboard from the user. See you in the next videos.